Hi, I'm going back to Seven Islands for this one. This is my local beauty spot, such as it is on Mitcham Common, Seven Islands. This is, I idealise it, I make just a painting of it. What I've done, I've squeezed some fresh paint out of my main colours. The Payne's Grey is okay, that's quite wet from the previous demo, but burnt sienna, ultramarine, the lemon yellow, and the the yellow, the raw sienna. Right, I'm going to wet the paper. Ooh, clean brush. This fabric on £130. I do find it's another level of skill using the really expensive rough papers. It's a different technique altogether. This is ideal for wetting this fabric, apart from being very cheap, relatively cheap, can I say? Right, we'll put in a bit of yellow oak, raw sienna, just a sort of a blush all over. Just it unifies the painting, a coat of raw sienna. I used to see demonstrations by John Birkinshaw, Croydon artist, London. He used to paint quite large demos, half imperial mostly, and when he'd finished and his painting was dry, or they didn't paint wet in wet as I put it, he would go over the whole painting with a wash of raw sienna, and it just did something to it. It just gave it an age, like an antique look, and it was beautiful, very risky. Right, let's put a bit of blue in there now. See how thick that colour is. These are student quality colours, but I want these. Oops. Right, don't be frightened of doing this. It's great fun to do. I know it's a little bit risky, but it's only a bit of paper. Don't be intimidated by it. And I'll use a bit of alizarin and a bit of Payne's Grey in there. The alizarin's just a little bit stiff from yesterday. I haven't used it today, so let's just put a nice bit of warmy cloud across. And then we can make that a little bit darker up there. So we've got a nice cloud in the sky, but a bright day. And we'll see what happens to that as it dries. I'm going to help it along. So take your headphones off, or fast forward through this next bit because I'm going to dry. Ready, go. Okay, I don't want it bone dry, but when the paper's wet and it's still shiny with the reflection on the wetness, you can do more or less whatever you like all this in one go. It's when it starts to dry off, it's the killer. You see, like that at the bottom here, but that doesn't matter, that's going to be behind the mount. Right, so we'll put in a bit of background now, a bit of red, a bit of blue, a bit of ultramarine. So let's just put in some trees on the skyline here. And we'll overpaint this. Let's get that further up. Use all the height, I'm using the corner of it now. Try and keep your horizons horizontal. Using the edge of the brush now. I'm going to put an island, this is 7 islands, so don't worry about that bit there, that's going to be covered up. Let's just do a bit more blue and a little bit of red. The red will kill the brilliance of that blue a little bit, make it more of a grey blue. Right, okay, we'll put in some autumn sort of stuff in there. Ted Weston used to do a lot of this sort of stuff, mixing the siennas into the background. Right, let's just lift out. Well, that's just the background. Let's put in an island. So we put burnt sienna, a bit of blue. Ron Ransom painted wet, with wet paint, shall I say. So this is a sort of a beach coming across here. I make it look a lot larger than it is. It's like a very large pond with 7 small islands on it, hence the name. I'm going to go over that with my varnish, my inch varnish brush, because that gives some lovely textures for the dry brush. I'm going to put a little bit of burnt umber in there, I think. A bit of water on there. And a bit of grey. Right, I don't want to overdo this bit. Sometimes you don't always know what the back of the brush is doing. So as that dries, I can put my bushes up in here, and I've done this several times, this one. Okay, so we'll put in. I'll do the foreground. Well, I'll put it in light. This is the sort of beach coming across. Warm. See how flat the paper is? And it's quite light for the way I treat it. Light in weight, that is, 130 pounds. And how well behaved. I just keep clipping it. Okay, so we'll put a little bit of a bushy thing in there. I've used the lemon yellow. Let's this pebbly. We'll put. Let's lift out some of that. Let's just. It's got a bit wet there. But that's okay. We're coming into this tree now. It's autumny sort of colour. So yellow ochre, bit of burnt sienna. Let's go for it. Let's have some fun with this lovely wet paint. So you get much stronger colours. Now there's a sort of a western tree there. Let's put a bit of umber and a bit of darker shadow in. Oh, this is lovely. Should do more of these wet paintings. The problem is it gets expensive because your paint's going to dry anyway, and you end up with a big butcher's tray covered with dried paint. So then you're back to what we have been doing. Right, let's just put in a little bit of warm bushes in here. I know I've done all these before, but they all come out differently. So it doesn't matter how many times I do them. Okay, a bit further up here. And I'll put a bit on the bank. Green. Oh my word. Oh, we'll have to do something with that. I'll see if I can lift it out when it's dry. Put something like a log there or something. Gloopy. Alright, okay, so that we've got to do some bit of detail, but I'm going to clean my brush, and I'm still waiting for that to dry there. We might, if I lift it out, it's going to go white. So we're going to turn that into something else, something, a bit of artistic license here. Alright, well while that's drying off, find my rigger, and we'll put in some it's much easier to do on the smoother paper. Don't do too much of this. It all goes a long way. Let's make that a little bit thicker there. Right, we'll put a bit of ivy in that as well. Right, so let's see if we can rescue that little bit of a disaster there. I've still got to use that little inch brush. I'll use the inch brush for that because that, I want that a little bit more indistinct. Well, we've sort of got ourselves out of a hole there, I think. A bit warm. See how easy reflections are to do? I might reflect in there, but I might not. I might dry brush over here though. Oops, lost my rigger. bit of blue, bit of red. Right. That'll do. I'm going to leave that margin. That's wind ruffled, sort of. Just a little bit more in. Hopefully it just gives that effect of wind ruffling. Right, go back to my inch texture brush. Make sure when you take your brushes out of the water that you haven't got water left in the ferrule for the unsuspecting. So let's just see these lovely little marks you can get with this sort of brush. There's a bit wodgy that the underpainting there. So it's a bit of burnt sienna and a bit of grey. Oh, because I was going to use it there. It'll be a little bit wet around the edge there. So here we are. Just that is too light, that, so I'm going to have to change that. There's a little bit of yellow in there. Just a sort of a bush. Right, that's going to do for that. I'm going to put that in the mount. Well, apart from that bit there, and I didn't really want. Well, I suppose I should. If I dry this off, take your headphones off for a second. Ready, go. That'll do. It needs to be bone dry to do this, so I'm going to put that reflection in, but I'll leave a margin. Let's just wet the paper without disturbing the paint, and then with that colour behind, just put that in. We can put a bit of blue. But just leave a bit of a margin, if you know what I mean, between the bank and the reflection. And then let gravity do its work. Right, okay, but I can't do any more than that. Let's put the mount on it. So there we are, we have another 7 islands. Autumn, coming into autumn. We're not quite, we're still in summer. It's a very hot day again. London got well over 90 yesterday. And we sat in the garden. I did a barbecue last night. Curry on the barbecue tonight. Right, well I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. I'm not going to do any more of that tree. That is fine, no problem. Okay, so I'll zoom you in. Just trying to get everything right angles. Usual problem trying to line this up, but I can't. So there's my tree, very, very simple. Background, foreground, just a reflection in the water. I've not tried to do portraits of any of this. That's the reflection, that looks quite good now, and my little disaster doesn't look too bad either. So we'll publish that. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.